Welcome back to another edition of Our City. On Thursday, March 5th, I'm going to attend the Boys and Girls Club 2020 Youth of the Year Awards. This event will take place at the Galloping Hill Caterers, known as 5 Points, in the city of Union. And later that week, on March 7th, the 6th annual Elizabeth Police Department versus the Elizabeth Fire Department charity hockey game. You know, last year, this event raised over $16,000 for Children's Specialized Hospital. I want to thank the policemen and the firemen for contributing to charity and during this annual hockey game match, and just hope nobody ever gets hurt. And if you need more information concerning these events or any other events, please call our Public Information Office at 908-820-4124. And for this week's show, I am pleased to be joined by the Assistant Executive Director of Community Access Unlimited, Mr. Joshua Bradley. Joshua, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, Joshua, the first question I always ask guests, and I think this is the first time you're on the show, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah, tell us about yourself. How'd you wind up here? Where'd you come from? What'd you do?
So I'm currently the Assistant Executive Director of Quality Assurance and Training at CAU. I've been with CAU for about 10 years. I was originally born in Maine, so I actually didn't come down to this area until probably 2007. As soon as I came down here, I found CAU. It was really my first employment opportunity down here. Started out as a direct support professional at CAU, kind of worked my way up through the homes. And in the last 5 years, I've had an office-based position with quality assurance here.
So is your education in dealing with people that are challenged, or sociology or anything like that?
No, you know, it's funny. You kind of find that this field in general kind of becomes kind of a collecting area for people from all different backgrounds. It's funny how people end up here. It's one of my favorite things when I meet new hires, is kind of talk, how'd you get here?
Right.
Because everybody has such a unique story on how they came here.
Yeah, coming from Maine to an urban community in New Jersey has got to be a little bit of culture shock.
You know what? I get that a lot too. I actually grew up in the biggest city in Maine. It's a little bit smaller.
Which is?
Portland.
Portland, okay.
So it's a little bit smaller than Elizabeth. You guys are what, 100,000?
We're about 130,000.
Yeah, we were probably 60 or 70, so about half the size. Super diverse city though. You know, I would consider myself a city kid when I grew up. So it wasn't as big of a shock as one would think, just kind of hearing it.
The only time I've been in Maine was in Algonquin, down in the southern part.
Yep. Yeah, so that's about probably 30 miles south of Portland. That's right across the border of New Hampshire. So
it is, right.
So Portland's about probably 60 miles north of the border.
North of there,
yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I've been in Kennebunk, which is a pretty neat
Kennebunkport?
little community.
Yeah, those are all those seaside towns. It's a beautiful. It was funny. I was just talking to somebody. Maine's beautiful. It's 4 seasons. It doesn't matter what time of the year you go. There's always
4 seasons the same day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get a little bit of everything. So yeah, no, it's a beautiful place.
So tell us about Community Access Unlimited. I know a lot about the organization, but your role in getting there, and what's your view of Community Access and the work they do?
So you know, the work that we do, it's necessary. It's really getting people with developmental disabilities and at-risk youth involved in the community. It's finding what type of support that they need, and really tailoring what we provide to their specific needs and what they need to be successful, independent citizens in the community. And
you have a mirage here of a lot of people who have not only worked in there, but also people who benefited by the program.
Yeah, and you know, it's we have such a big reach. You know, we started out in Union County, you know, and we've kind of expanded throughout the state of New Jersey and the different services that we provide.
Now it's coming up on its 40th anniversary.
We just celebrated 40.
Right.
Yeah, we just celebrated 40.
And Sid Blanchard started this out of the back of his Volkswagen. Right? You've heard this story or not?
I either knew you were going to tell the story or I was going to tell the story. I knew that story was.
Since you're the newcomer, you tell the story and let me hear it from you.
Yeah, we started a little over 40 years ago out of the back of Sid Blanchard's Volkswagen Beetle. We had a single contract for the state to take people out of the developmental centers and get them to be independent members of the community. You know, we started with a handful, you know, and we've kind of worked our way up. In the last 40 years, we've taken about a little over 300 people out of developmental centers and made them integrated members in the community.
And the folks that you work with are so great to have that opportunity. And until you actually walk through from an outsider like me and see the smiles on their faces and the commitment that they have to succeed, it's worth every effort you put in.
Yeah, and it's, you know, so many of the individuals that we support, they just needed that opportunity. The only thing that was holding them back was just getting that
That
opportunity.
little bit of a bridge.
Yep, just that bridge.
So
to-
tell us about what kind of services you provide, Joshua.
So we do. We have a breadth of services. We have, as I said, we kind of started off with the residential and the in-home supports and things like that. In the mid '80s, we added youth programs and at-risk youth. We added employment services around the same time. We are constantly evolving, though. We have employment services that are growing rapidly. We have behavioral supports that we offer. We have rehabilitation services. We have just across the board recreation, assistive technology. The list just kind of keeps growing every year.
And tell us, Joshua, from the back of a Volkswagen with one contract, how many members does CAU have now? Do you know?
Yeah, we support, between all the services we offer, we support a little over 3,500 statewide.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's, we can't grow fast enough. There's a need there, and there's people that need services, and the quicker we can get up to speed with providing those services and just keep people on board, there's certainly a need there.
So a few years back, they opened up the new state-of-the-art 5-story, 60,000 square foot building. How's that building working out? What is it, 4 years now?
Yeah, it's about 4 years.
Right.
The building is great. I remember the day we moved in, and I walked around, and it was much needed. It was much needed from the building that we had next door, and we seemed like we had plenty of room to grow. We seemed like it would be plenty of room to.
So what you're telling me is everything's being used now?
We are, we are, all those vacant rooms, all those vacant cubicles, they are 100% used now.
Yeah, because when I opened it or cut the ribbon, I thought myself, wow, this is a lot of space. Mm-hmm. And it's all being used.
Yep, we've kind of expanded, and we've just, like I said, that opportunity for growth is there. We just,
I was there a few Saturdays ago for Members Day, which used to be held in one of our senior centers until you built that building. And it was interesting to see the commitment on some of the members. And rather than give a speech when I go there, I usually just open it up for questions. And it's kind of fun to deal with the questions and what the priorities are. Their priorities are sometimes simple, but extremely important to them. And therefore, we try to accomplish and get the answers. The Members Day was an idea that was formed many years ago, but it still seems to work.
Yeah, it's and I think that's one of the great things about our organization is that although we're always bringing new people in, we've had people that have been involved for a very long time. So you don't kind of lose those legacy events. People keep that interest, and even our team that kind of runs Members Days, they're always looking to get new people involved and kind of let people know this is what CAU is and this is what CAU can do for you. Advocacy is such a big part of what we do. And, it's much more important when the individual that is affected the most is the one advocating for it. So it just means so much more to come directly from the members. And I'm sure you would.
I couldn't agree with that more. I think it's absolutely right. There's always needs to be some institutional knowledge in going forward. So Sid steps down after 40 years, and you have a new executive director, Bernadette Griswold.
Yep.
Did I say that correctly?
Yep.
So what changes is Bernadette making to move CAU forward since you bridge the past and now the future?
It's really exciting time in the field. We've had the change internally at CAU, but the field has changed a little bit too. It's becoming more focused on the individual's needs, and they have more say in how they're.
Okay.
They have more say in how they are receiving their services. So, for Bernadette, the first thing she did was kind of a reorganization to make us a little bit more nimble, so we could kind of meet those needs as they're evolving and as they're changing. So we added a development department that has grown. We've added an intake that's grown. So we're really enhancing those services. We've added an assistive technology. So it's really kind of looking at how those needs are going to evolve and almost predicting what's going to be needed in the future so that we're ready to meet that need when it arises.
So when you talk of needs, how do you deal with the ever-changing world of state and federal funding, which is always a challenge in your business?
A lot of it is waiting for them to tell us what the rules are, and we almost have to predict which way things are going to go. They were pretty straightforward in giving us a list of services that people can receive. And once we kind of got that list, we said, okay, how can we develop, supports in those areas to meet the needs that our members will have.
So speaking of the members, how often do the members interact by them asking, or is it more you going out and your team going out and saying, how are things and how can we make things better?
It's probably split down the middle. Our members are super vocal.
I know that. From Members Day, I know that. So.
The easiest way, if you give somebody the opportunity to talk, they're more than happy to talk to you. It's kind of just opening that door. Tell me how things are going, and
More people need to be that way.
yeah, and if I ask the question, tell me how things are going, I know that I'm gonna sit down and enjoy the conversation because I'm gonna hear the good, bad, and the ugly. So we have pretty good in-depth quality checks that we go out. We do random visits and stuff like that. So a combination of the two is how we figure out what the needs are.
Joshua, we're going to take a break, run a couple of commercials, and come back and talk more about CAU. Please stay with us after these messages. We'll be back with more with Joshua Bradley talking about Community Access Unlimited, headquartered here in the city of Elizabeth.
We're an American original, dependable, historic, nuanced, with all the comforts of home, even when you're just visiting. So we're celebrating for all that we've left untouched and all that we've changed. A place where the past meets the future. So consider this your invitation.
We've been celebrating here in Elizabeth for 350 years, and we're just getting started. The census, as prescribed by the Constitution, is extremely important for not only the constitutional districts, but also for roads, bridges, hospitals, community development block grants. Where do we stand with the federal government on future dollars that are going to be allocated to the states and the cities? So the city of Elizabeth is working diligently in order to provide a full count in our community. We've been working diligently with the Census Committee. We have our maps and everything approved. But most importantly, we have to put a team of people together that's going to go door to door, neighborhood to neighborhood, talk about the importance of the census.
Just minutes from New York City, we are the gateway to the state of New Jersey. Experience Elizabeth, It all starts here. Just minutes from New York City, we are the gateway to the state of New Jersey. Experience Elizabeth. It all starts here. Just minutes from New York City, we are the gateway to the state of New Jersey. Experience Elizabeth. It all starts here.
Welcome back to our city, where I'm joined by Joshua Bradley, the Assistant Executive Director at Community Access Unlimited. Joshua, CAU's employment programs, you mentioned on the first half of the program, and the approach to expanding meaningful and integrated work opportunities for people with disabilities always has to be a challenge. And how do you manage the ability to get some of these folks work?
We have a pretty firm belief that everybody is able to have meaningful employment. The challenge is finding that correct partnership that meets the needs of that individual as well. And so our biggest challenge is finding partners to work with. There's a lot of research that goes to support that. Hiring individuals with developmental disabilities is a win-win for everyone. It really is when you find that right fit. People speak of being very satisfied with that. So a lot of it is kind of going out and breaking that stigma and just getting people to kind of buy into what we're selling to develop those partnerships. We're working with DVRS a lot. We recently had them, we completed a summer internship program last year that was super successful. They want to do it again this year with us. We already have over 20 people that have agreed to partner with us for summer employment opportunities. We expect to provide those employment opportunities to 30 plus individuals. So, if anybody is interested in kind of learning more about how to partner with us, we're always looking for people.
So can you give us some examples of an integrated work opportunity, what somebody's doing, and without mentioning names naturally, but or a company?
Yeah, there's a redevelopment project going on at the airport. We've partnered with some organizations.
We worked with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we it really is, the opportunity is just finding that right job in that fit. So we have somebody that is currently working with one of the airlines to clean the planes when they're out of service and going in and out of service. Those are the type of opportunities. It's really matching what is important to the individual to the needs of the company that they're going to work for. And we have job coaching that goes along with them. We have job development and things like that. So we definitely provide those resources to make that person successful.
So one of the things that you do that is important as well as housing programs. Mm-hmm. And we have some housing programs here in Elizabeth, but it's not only Elizabeth, it's around the county and the state. So what kind of housing programs do you offer?
So primarily we offer housing for individuals with developmental disabilities as well as at-risk youth. We have probably close to 60 locations spread out through 12 cities in Union County. Many of the locations that are for individuals with developmental disabilities are barrier-free. Almost everything that we develop nowadays is barrier-free, so it's got lots of accessibility. We recently redeveloped the old office that we had over on West Grand Street. That has been turned into 20-plus units of affordable housing.
Are they all full?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything is full. Yep. So, we can't put things up fast enough. There's definitely a need, and we're kind of expanding as quickly as we can.
So how do people find out about your services? Is there a website or things like that?
Yeah, so you can see what we have available at caunj.org. We also have, there's lists that kind of go along with the state and things like that to let people know, but I'd say most of how people find out about our services is word of mouth. It's people are satisfied with the services that we have. They tell people, hey, I get this from CAU, and that's how a lot of our business comes our way.
So who should explore housing options with community access? A provider, or the actual person that may have the mentally challenged issues, or a family member? Who should actually explore it?
So I kind of talked about kind of the switch and that was kind of happened in the field, and we used to have case management services. It's kind of transitioned into something called support coordination. Those are the individuals that really help the individual find the supports that they need. So it could come from the support coordinator looking, and reaching out to our intake department to see what we have for vacancies. But it's usually a referral from somewhere that will get people to community access.
And the community access and the support coordination you spoke of, is that all in-house, or do you coordinate with our outside agencies as well?
So our support coordination that we do, we can do it in every county other than Union County, because that's where we provide the residential supports. So anybody that would want to get support coordination or want to get residential supports would get it from an outside support coordinating agency. They would refer them.
Now, one of the things that's most important to the city of Elizabeth, and we have a full-time person, Darren Bryden, assigned to it, and I know you're working with us on it, is the Complete Census Program. Mm-hmm. And CAU's involvement in making sure people complete it. What are you guys doing to work with us and the state on the Complete Census Program? So
we are specifically looking at undercounted and underrepresented segments of the population. For us, it hits two of our core areas, individuals with developmental disabilities, along with our at-risk youth. So we will be having some Complete the Count census events where people actually can complete the count at the event, and we'll actually have some educational events. I think we're going to have probably 4 or 6 before the census count comes out. A lot of it is to educate the individuals that are going to be a part of the count, to kind of break away that stigma and let them know it's okay to participate in the count, but to also educate, whoever else may be interested. It's not just going to be for CIU members. It's really going to be open for the public.
Joshua, that's a really important point, is to make sure people understand it's important and that it's something that it's not a stigma. We need your help on this. And when you talked about an underserved population, it's your population that census figures or often forget. We can't allow that.
Yeah, no, it's not very well represented, and that's our goal, to have 100% of the individuals that we support to be counted this year. It doesn't happen very often, so when it does come around, we want to make sure that everybody is represented.
So where do you see the future of community access going? Obviously, it's changed since the back of the Volkswagen 40 years ago. And how do you see it changing and growing or maturing in the future?
I think we're in a little bit of stability in terms of the field now. I think that growth is just going to continue to be exponential. I think people are going to realize what types of services they can receive. For a long time, it was kind of one size fits all. You got your residential support, you got everything else from who provided that residential support. People have so much more say now. A lot of the changes that Bernadette has made us address those differing needs that somebody may have. Our day hab is growing. We've doubled in size. Our employment has increased significantly just in the last year. We've added assistive technology. It's a nice way that people can use technology to become more independent. We've seen huge growth in that area. So I just kind of see us kind of continuing to expand on these things that maybe weren't traditional 10 years ago with what we were doing, but that's kind of where the future is headed.
So Joshua, if people need your help, where would they contact you? I mean, if you said it's a lot of word of mouth, but we can close the show with, who they call, where's your website, how do they get information?
So since we do so much, the best place to probably get information on what we do in all the different areas to visit the website at www.caunj.org. If you want to reach out to us by phone, you can talk about our information and referral department. It's 908-354-3040.
So I want to thank you, and I want to thank the work that you do at CAU as well as the entire organization. You do a great service to the city and the county. Thank you. For Mr. Joshua Bradley and Community Access Unlimited, I'm Mayor Chris Bolwage, and we'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.